Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back to the Hellcase Cup 8. We're going to be going into our third map of a best of 3 series that's pretty much been even because both maps have been so one-sided. It's been a bit of an odd one, of course the scoreline slightly closer in the last map, but I don't think there was any real doubt that Endpoint were going to be taking things home. And now we head into our middle ground, a map of Train, one that statistically has been pretty good for Hard Legion, but as of recent there's been some pretty questionable results.
Yeah, I think Train is hopefully going to be a closer map between these two teams. I want to see us have a competitive affair. I want to see us having a close first half, and we'll see if that is going to be coming through, because we're underway into the pistol round, where Hard Legion aren't wasting any time moving over to B, and they're not wasting any time getting these kills either. forZe and Rage both opening up this one. Thomas staying alive at the back of the bomb site, but he's not going to be alive much longer. Crucial, the last man standing, and he is very unlikely to win this.
Yeah, a bit of a weird round from both teams, in fact. Endpoint playing a double pop pistol setup to try and get quick rotations, but the players on the B site went down so fast there wasn't really any hope for them to do anything here. So, yeah, Hard Legion setting the pace. I think the fact that they've started off on the T side is probably going to be a benefit for them, in all honesty, because their CT side has been a bit questionable, but it does give them a chance to at least get off to a good start. Well, Crucial, he's just trying to make some extra money. Give himself a chance to maybe get a scout in the next round and keep the Kevlar. Unfortunately, with the death he has, he could still go for it, but he'd have to buy it himself.
Yeah, forSe will be coming through for Endpoint into this second round. Train is one of those maps where those double scout plays are much more viable, and MiGHTYMAX and Crucial will both be picking up the snipers. You can see our odds over on Unicorn favoring Endpoint early here on Train, now that we've headed into the Decider map. And remember, you can go ahead and go over to Unicorn, and fans who place a daily star ladder bet with Unicorn will get a free $10 bonus. Did you cash in your free Unicorn bet today? Make sure to go ahead and check it out if you haven't. Back into the action, though, because these scouts are coming into play, and these always are dangerous rounds on Train. If some of those scout shots start to land, you can start to be uncomfortable, and forZe's already been chunked down to 10 health here.
Yeah, we've already seen on Inferno how these forZe rounds can go, and yeah, as you said, I definitely feel a little bit more comfortable on this map seeing the double scouts than we did so on Inferno. It plays into the map a lot more. A lot of narrow, long-range angles to take, which are perfect for these scouts to just chip away at the remaining players. Thomas actually buying an HE, and I like to see small little details like that. You've got the scouts, what's the perfect follow-up to try and finish off one of these players without taking really any risk at all? Well, it's a high-explosive grenade, and he's managed to start things off with an opening pick. I don't know if there's much of a chance of retrieving the rifles, and forZe doesn't seem to have a gun. I'm not sure if he's gone for the edgy, they're not going to buy, I'll just use a USP. If he has, that is my least favorite strategy in any game. Well, it annoys me very much.
Like, svyat has a Tech 9. At least give that to him, right?
Yeah, you'd think, but it seems like sometimes people don't. It is going to be the push coming in. Flashbang from svyat actually blinds Krad, and kinqie's been caught through the smoke. This forSe could not be going better at this point in time. Nice spam through, though. Will give svyat at least a trade onto the teammate he killed. And now rotating back around both players so low. I would say save, but for forZe to die, like, what?
This sucks.
Is this gun just not showing? Like, I don't know why you would save in that situation.
I mean, svyat now will give him the Tech 9, maybe. Well, there we go. He's actually got the AK over to forZe, which is nice. They also have a Galil in there. But yeah, I guess he did just save the USP, is the only answer to it. As you were saying, though, that nade was nice and well placed. And then Thomas just playing that sneaky angle close to the bomb train. It's always a good one, with the pistols especially, where you can probably catch one man and you can try and just get that one kill that you need in this sort of round, which is normally what you're aiming for, to try and just keep the round competitive. We'll get to see the buys come through, though, because Endpoint have only got one premium rifle in play, with an AK in the hands of robiin. So Hard Legion aren't going to be too far behind in terms of having some rifles to work with, but at the same time, I assume some of their players are going to have some very weak weapons in the mix.
It is quite funny looking at some of the stats we currently have at the moment. Like, that said that svyat's ADR was 7 with a kill, so impressive stuff. I'm pretty sure the player he did kill was incredibly low. But here we go. It's going to be a buyback in. Of course, we have seen Hard Legion actually manage to win out some of these rounds, and considering the only rifle is actually one that was saved and they've kept some SMGs, it's actually a pretty big risk coming up for the side of Endpoint. I would have liked to see maybe an extra rifle thrown into the mix, because it almost seems like they're asking to be reset.
Yeah, especially those scouts can really easily be run over by pistols in this sort of round. Ooh, and Surreal with the MP9 has taken some early damage over on B. MAC-10 from Thomas was playing close range, but he's just backed away. Should have made some noise in the process there, but kinqie will be grouping up with the rest of his boys over on the B side of the map. It's Crucial and Surreal holding this site, but we said earlier, Surreal's been chunked down low already. Here comes a potential rotate, though. robiin is playing in connector with the AK, and as the smokes come on in, Endpoint are going to have plenty of players here to hold.
And here go those scouts as well. This is the thing, they're still very much viable at this point, and just setting up Surreal for free kills. They are going to have to try and rotate back, or so it seemed. The bomb went out, and 2 players then backed away. I think that's a complete misplay from the remaining players of Hard Legion. Like, well, you can even see Rage maybe raging a little bit, because I'm not sure what happened there. Like, they retreated, the bomb went forward, and that's the round over.
Yeah, in a lot of these rounds, it feels like, again, Hard Legion just realized things just a little bit too late, right? They maybe realized there was a B stack, and then they try to call it off. Okay. Oh, man.
What was going on there? The whole point of the window is that you see him first. How's he got both?
Cool.
Oh, that is ridiculous. I'm not sure what's just happened for Hard Legion, but that, well, literally couldn't have gone any worse.
Yeah, Thomas just robbed them at the end there. Blind robbery. Gets away with the AK. And now Hard Legion have to go for what looks like a full save. Yeah, they've got a flock of Glocks in this round, which sounds graceful, but it normally ends terribly. Endpoint are also going to be allowed to build up a good amount of money now with another AK picked up, with the potential for more SMG kills on Surreal. It's Thomas and robiin who's pushed into Pop Dog. robiin really didn't need to give away the AK there, but he's put it into the hands of forZe. That could be somewhat costly here. It's not going to make a massive difference. Endpoint still end up cleaning up the round. They save their 2 AKs over, and the economy for Endpoint is already looking pretty damn solid. They're going to get the AWP out ahead of this first gun round.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if we are going to get Hard Legion going back to that pure aggressive stance, and whether or not Endpoint will have what it takes to slow it down. Because there's not really the excuses we can give them in like previous maps where economy was mismanaged and just things weren't really going their way. This time they've got off to a good start in terms of their finances, and if things go wrong, well, it comes down to them more than anything else. forZe is going to be dead within the first few seconds. An attempted aggressive push out A main has left not only one player dead, but another tagged as well. Ivy going to be pressured. Now, you have to bear in mind that MiGHTYMAX only has a scout. So even if he gets a single kill here, I'll be relatively surprised, because I don't really know how he can play this in a close range angle. So they are just going to have to give up a fair amount of control. svyat is going to get that opener onto him. But now this is where the remaining players, they've got their rifles, they've even got the AKs they've retrieved, and although a lot of map control has been taken, it's a bit of an awkward spot for Hard Legion, who it's clear that their positions are known.
Yeah, robiin giving away his position through that smoke, but Krad struggling so far this game, still yet to get a kill on the board. It's back to a 2v2, both players low, but kinqie wins that fight against Thomas. And now Surreal, not Surreal, Crucial has to clutch. Surreal was dead a long time ago, but Crucial is here to play. Unfortunately, Rage, oh, he doesn't pull the trigger. Crucial hasn't seen the bomb. He's going all the way back to B, or he's rotating around to the back trains. Okay, so he has seen the bomb at the very least. This is going to come down to whoever gets the drop on their opponent, and Rage is still looking at connector. He might not have realized Crucial's rotated all the way around. Heads up play from Crucial wins him the clutch in the 1v2.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how he won that. It seemed like the trigger finger from Rage was just a little bit too strong, if anything. And I think he got bamboozled a little bit by the fact that Crucial went all the way around. But yeah, great clutch from him. Probably didn't realize that his USP would have been just as effective in these scenarios, but that's what the CT side needed. They got off to a strong start, 4-1 up. Now we get the double op setup, in fact, coming in both towards the A site, at least initially. Surreal still playing that anchor role, but again, we're expecting a fast play here. It's only pistols. The Tech 9s alongside some Deegs. Rage has bought absolutely nothing just to make sure he has enough money for the AWP, although the loss bonus should be almost maximum by now, so he might have actually saved more money than he needed to. Nonetheless, this is a chance to actually build up some cash, almost a shot towards a teammate there, and Crucial, he's back. I'm liking this. He's looking a lot better than what we saw in the first map, especially.
Rage is just desperate. Nothing happening for him at the end there. I like the attempt, but like you said, he is going to be buying up the AWP into this one, which is going to be important with how Crucial started. Rage will be wanting to win that AWP battle. Over on the Endpoint side of things, though, I'm glad that robiin didn't push Pop Dog in that round like he did previously against the low buy, because you don't want to risk giving away the gun unnecessarily. And even though robiin did die at E-Box, the gun was dropped in the open, so his teammates could have eyes on it and make sure they just close out the round comfortably. And now into round number 7, here comes this buy for Hard Legion. As I was saying, AWP out for Rage. AKs across the board for the rest of the players, and ooh, Rage will be able to dodge away from that nade. Didn't quite go where Endpoint wanted it to. Rage is getting kind of close on these wall bangs, but nothing connecting so far as robiin gets back to safety. It's Crucial who opens up the round, and Max is pushed all the way into Ivy. Missing AWP shots here. This is not what Max was needing. Luckily, the smoke should be able to get him away safely, and they will hold the man advantage for now.
Yeah, I like that from Max. I've always seen people who don't seem to realize when things are going wrong. Never mind, he re-peeked. I take everything back. I was about to give him credit for just falling back and not giving away the man advantage, but decides to re-peek, maybe not thinking that kinqie would have been that close, and instead hands away the kill instead. There has to be a rotation because of this to try and defend off that Ivy control, and it's left them with some serious vulnerabilities. And that is that only Surreal currently defends B. Now, he can do this role pretty well. The anchor player, one of the more experienced, at least internationally, on this roster. Timing's going to be everything. As we get down to the last 30 seconds, he hasn't even realized that they've pushed out upper. He's going to hear all the footsteps and has managed to reposition himself. He might actually be able to survive here. In fact, robiin's just rotated in, closed out 2 players. This is over. There should be absolutely no way. Like, forZe now has to try and go running all the way back. I don't even know if he's going to have enough time. The kill will at least give him an opportunity. But even just the shots, that was enough. That was so worth it from robiin. All he did there was delay him, and there's not going to be enough time. It doesn't matter anyway. In fact, both players, I believe, went down after the timer, or maybe only one. I think forZe died just before. But that play was fantastic. I believe that was robiin again, where he didn't actually get the kill, but he didn't need to. Those few shots delayed just enough time that bomb wasn't enough to be planted.
Yeah, there are those initial 2 kills. robiin just catching players completely out in the open. And as you said, those few shots landing, it shows people talk about how much timings can make a difference in Counter-Strike. And that is the perfect example of it, where the shots probably delay the man by just a single second, but it's all that's needed. Hard Legion would have got the bomb down if those shots didn't connect. But the slight delay, the slightest of differences in timings means that Hard Legion have no chance to win the round. And now they've got pistols into this one, so their chances are limited into this one again. They're going to go for some nades out into B. Smoke goes down. It's a bit shallow. It's not going to be great for them. And Surreal switches guns. Uh-oh. Here come the pistols. Glock gets the first kill. And Endpoint have to try and fight back here. Have to try and go through the smoke, which is not looking good for them. They're down in a 2v4.
This is one of those rounds that could be so crucial later in the game. robiin left into a 1 versus 3, and he's the one man, in fact, on his side that is financially a little bit weaker. It might just be worth holding on to the rifle. Krad has already managed to pick up another, but with that kill, there is a chance. The bomb is ticking, but he has got a kit. Realizes that the AWP's probably the more valuable thing in this scenario and just decides to fade away. I can respect it, but that's one of those rounds where, sure, there were a few things to do with timing that kind of wrecked them. Like, I think reloading right next to the smoke was probably the worst, especially with the initial damage that they actually managed to do. But those are the rounds that, well, you almost wish for on the T side. They boosted their economy, they've stolen a couple of guns, and now they have the chance to build into the T side.
Make sure to check out Hellcase. You can use the code SLTV for extra money on your account. That code is SLTV15 for a 15% refill bonus over on Hellcase. As we head into another gun round, Crucial gets that AWP thanks to robiin saving it over. So the money remains pretty good for Endpoint into this round. It's into the next one that they have to be a little concerned if they end up losing this round. Then again, that round for Hard Legion, wow, what a shot from MiGHTYMAX. He just absolutely deleted svyat.
Oh, we're going to see the re-aggression, actually, in Krad. It's going to open back up. The nade damage is doing so much, but MiGHTYMAX doesn't spot the man as he pushes through the smoke. There are some mistakes being made by Endpoint, and although they are still technically in an advantageous position here, they could be looking at maybe even a 5-on-2 if they don't make the mistakes that we've seen. I suppose that almost sells it as a positive, the fact that they're still being able to have a few slip-ups and come out on top in these rounds. For now, though, Thomas has to be relatively careful, and I don't like this position from him, mainly because he's currently having to try and cover 3 angles at once, which is never something you want to see in Counter-Strike, especially as he's got to be careful. They're about to make their way out of Ivy, and the one he's forgotten about is actually going to be Ivy. Luckily, well, for him, I guess, his teammate's going to be the one shot in the face, so he's able to gain some ground in the turnaround. Perfect from Thomas. A horrible position to hold, but one that he makes work.
Yeah, Thomas starting to show up on an individual level, which is always a win condition for Endpoint. But seeing him just spin around like that on top of the train and get all those kills, very impressive from Thomas. Like you were saying, most times in this position, you maybe get 1 kill and then get traded out because you're so exposed. But Thomas turns around 180 degrees for an instant kill onto that second man, which makes all the difference and ensures that Endpoint keep on rolling. A 7-2 lead now on the Endpoint side of things, and they're going back to this double AWP setup, which means their money continues to be on the edge of being broken. That's something that Endpoint have to keep in mind, as these nades do a fair bit of damage onto Hard Legion. Really good damage done early into this round by Endpoint, but Surreal is about to be pressured. 2 kills on the spray, could be more. svyat tries to go through the smoke, but desperate at that point. Surreal had already got his teammates out of the round, and this is an attempt of a B rush, which this time has been shut out.
Yeah, I had a much better position this time for Surreal. And I will admit that the last time when it went wrong, I did consider that a blip on the radar rather than something I consistently expected to happen. As I said, he's someone with huge amounts of experience and almost the perfect player to put in this anchor role. Always going to be communicating well to the rest of the team, but also utility usage. And again, you mentioned it in the mid portions of the round. That's one thing that really is showing as a massive difference between these two squads. The utility damage that is currently coming out from Endpoint is on the charts. I'd almost love to have a look at the scoreboard and just see how much damage has actually been done by grenades. Crucial, obviously a man of good taste, as he has himself the dual Berettas. And already we are going to see an opener once again, and Max starting to maybe build into this a little bit. His secondary AWP hasn't been too impactful so far, but a boost to the confidence and to the stats as well leaves forZe alone, and Crucial is more than prepared. A 9-2 scoreline for Endpoint, looking to send Hard Legion, I believe, down to the lower bracket.
Yeah, we do have a lower bracket, which is something that Hard Legion will be happy about right now, considering how this train game's going for them. And we talk about CIS teams often being good on their T sides, but Train is one of those maps where it can be very difficult to get into your T side if you don't have some of those good plans to begin with. There are some teams that can have a lot of success on the T side of Train nowadays. I know that Mouse Sports are a team that we've talked about as being very good at getting out through A main early and trying to go for A plays, and that's what Hard Legion are going for here. It's not gone according to plan for them, though. kinqie falls alongside Krad. Good shots from both AWPers to open up this round for Endpoint.
This is already looking rough once again, and well, to your point, I think that with all the CIS matches we watched during the RMR event, pretty much every single map of Train ended up being T-sided. I just think that the Hard Legion haven't been able to get off to that good start, and some of the European teams are much better at shutting this initial aggression down, and that seems to be why they're struggling. They don't really have a second edge to their blade, as it all just seems to be this run and gun, these aggressive B plays, these rushes into A, Ivy being utilized quite rarely, and well, I don't think we've seen much of a challenge down Pop at all, and in fact that's where Surreal's going to be waiting. The timing could have worked out for him, but instead he's just going to have to scurry back up the ladder, and it leaves MiGHTYMAX alone. They've managed to turn this round into a workable position. You mentioned that the finances may be building up, but the fact is it cost them a lot to continue with this purchase, and now it's left all onto forZe. Max has got to be careful. He goes for the peek, even re-peeking to try and find the shot. And luckily for him, his teammate Surreal has completely rotated into position, and Endpoint will have their 10th.
Yeah, you see in that round, Surreal playing super safe in Pop Dog, which maybe was a mistake in that specific situation, but that's exactly what you want out of your B player for the most part. You need someone that's reliable and safe and isn't just going to completely give up that side of the map. And Unicorn definitely giving the edge over to Endpoint right now. Understandably so, considering what has been happening here on Train. It has been a very good CT side so far. Again, that investment has to come back in because they only survived with one man. So the AWPs continue to be bought over on the Endpoint side, which is costly. But as long as they win rounds, it's not a problem for them. And at Crucial, speaking of AWPs, has taken all the Brown Hall's control, and he's got himself a nice kill to start this round. Crucial's having a really good game here.
Yeah, I think we're seeing just a confident AWPer on a map that suits him, because this has looked all too easy. svyat trying to basically go for these random spurts of aggression to try and win them these rounds, get them back into these rounds, but he's been having a bit of a mare, as have the rest of his team. And he's the man that almost needs to try and make the change, not because he's the fragger, not because he's the man who gets the entries, but because he's the in-game leader, the person who is meant to be leading the squad. And as of right now, this is probably the longest we've seen Hard Legion actually survive. It's been so fast with their plays into the round. I'm happy to see more of a default. It will bait out some utility, but the issue being that breaking into this B site has been a struggle, even with reduced players. Ready and waiting is Crucial, but there's a missed shot. That could be an opportunity, but the flashbang from robiin sets him up. Once again, Crucial is walking straight into his opponent. They know where he is, but they can't seem to do anything about it. And although they'll eventually close him down, it is just too easy for Endpoint.
Yeah, Surreal giving them a different look this time on the B site, playing a position that is difficult to deal with when you get that smoke down. Unless you can spam him through that smoke, he can just sit there and cause all sorts of issues. And this was Crucial's shot at the start of the round. Quick on the trigger, spots the man dropping down. The flashbang not well timed for Hard Legion. And even though Crucial misses that first shot at long range, the AWP is in just such a beneficial position there where he only has to focus on the ramp. Because Surreal's got upper mostly locked down, it just makes it a lot easier for Crucial to land those shots. And Hard Legion, it's back to the aggression. MiGHTYMAX has to be careful. He is going to be run down. And here come the pistols. This is where Hard Legion have found success. Thomas gets one back while blind. So it's into a 3v3 with an AWP recovered. And Hard Legion decide to pump the brakes slightly. Probably thanks to that smoke more than anything, as forZe finds the man behind him. robiin was trying to hunt him down, but look at all the guns Hard Legion have. They've got all the guns available, but it might not matter. Thomas striking again, Surreal with one of his own, and Endpoint seem to have saved this round, unless kinqie has something to say about it.
And not someone renowned for his clutch potential, more the supportive player, and not someone we really see AWPing at all, so we'll have to wait and see if he hits the shot. Nice work. Gets the first onto Thomas, and that is going to give him a pathway on towards the B site. But he baits it out. I like this. This is so smart. He's completely fooled Surreal, as the smoke almost makes it evident that it should be a B play, but in fact he's rotated all the way back to A, and we'll be able to get some presence in towards the back of the bomb train. The thing is, Surreal didn't completely dedicate himself, so we'll have a relatively quick rotation, and considering the bomb plant, there's I would say only a few places that kinqie could really be. He's actually going a little bit further than you would have expected. Back down towards Olaf. The peak comes out, and he's down to just 1 HP. All he has. The incendiary looking to force him out. The leg shot connected. It's just not going well for either player here. It should have been done already, and the nade will close it out for Surreal. Probably didn't even know how low he'd got kinqie. And again, as you mentioned, it's close, but unfortunately not enough. Endpoint get a 12th round. It's looking like Inferno all over again.
Yeah, just one-sided maps across the board so far in this series, and Train is following suit. Even if some of these rounds have been somewhat close, it feels like Hard Legion are actually getting a better time of things when they have the pistols and when they just kind of go balls to the wall and just don't go for these slower plays, just go for just straight up fast aggression onto some of these positions, because Max there got caught at Ivy, caught in the open with just the AWP, and he didn't have the assistance. So there maybe is the ability for some fast aggression, and speaking of, Krad is the man who gets aggressive early in this one. robiin caught off early into the round. Endpoint looking a little vulnerable here on the A-bomb site, but the rotate will help shore up that hold. Unfortunately, though, with Endpoint down to 4 players, they have to decide which site is going to be weaker, and right now it's A that's looking like the vulnerable one. MiGHTYMAX has been dealt with, and Hard Legion should have a pretty easy time getting this bomb down on the A site.
Fairly sure we just witnessed Krad double his kills in one round, which says a lot about how this game has been going. He's been having a rough one. It looks like he may have come back to a little bit of form towards the end of this one. 12-3, still a very good half for Endpoint on the CT side. Although we do still consider this a CT-sided map, it hasn't been this one-sided for quite a while. And I do especially worry considering Hard Legion's CT sides thus far have definitely been the less impressive of the two.
And we've also got to say, forZe again, up there at the top with 12 kills. I think, according to the stats, Krad is the highest rated player on this Hard Legion team, but I think that's more down to the way he plays. Yeah. And I think you're right in saying that when going up against top teams, forZe's style is just more consistent and much more likely to continue to show up. And just in general, forZe seems very good at getting away with these 2 or 3 kills in some of these rounds where he just makes the small difference, right? It's not oftentimes highlight plays from forZe, it's just solid stuff, which he provides to this Hard Legion team. Unfortunately, it's just not been enough here for Hard Legion. A lot of rounds, the rest of the team just are not showing up. Like you said, Krad doubled his kills in that last round. They won that one round in the middle of the half just with the pistol rush onto B. They won the pistol round, and then they won that last round. That's literally it for Hard Legion. There was no consistency in any of their gun rounds.
Yeah, and I do think that that's a big issue for them, because as I mentioned before, like when you look at potential for this roster, I think forZe is the man who I could see going on to another team, or maybe being someone you build a team around, because he is a talented youngster, 20 years of age, definitely looking like someone who's much more experienced than he actually is, with some of the all-round capabilities, definitely a good rifler, but also has a strong deagle as well, which is always valuable. I haven't seen him use an AWP, but I'm sure he could probably pick it up every once in a while. Then you look at Rage, who can have good matches, but again, a crucial factor of Train is having a good T-side AWPer to open up some of these rounds for you. He's been fairly absent, and I think he's too inconsistent to really be considered the second star. So then you look to Krad, and he's probably the most inconsistent player I've ever watched. Like, literally in this series alone, he's gone from being the best player to the worst player in the space of a couple of maps, and that's not something you're going to get consistent victories out of. The fact that they managed to finish third at the first RMR event almost seems like a bit of a fluke, considering that they didn't even manage to make it out of groups this time. Bear in mind, the toughest group probably ever in the CIS history, but it doesn't take away from the fact that if they are going to be qualifying for the major, if they're going to look to try and get in that direction, they have to be better than this. And unfortunately, kinqie and svyat, although a lot of the time they do their job as their supportive players, it's not normally enough.
Now, we'll see if it's enough here on this pistol round, though, because Rage has landed that first shot. kinqie playing from the back of bomb train. Crucial continues to look for fights onto the site, and the Glocks are swarming it right now. forZe's got no chance. kinqie also follows his teammate to the grave. And Krad and Rage are left into 2v2 thanks to Krad. Rage turns it around, somehow landing that shot. And it's into this 1v1. robiin's going to tap the bomb, but he's trying to bait Krad in. robiin here looking for the shots, and Krad is going to close the distance. Krad gives him the fight. No one landing shots. robiin somehow alive for a long time there, but he just could not connect. Krad closes out the pistol round and gives Hard Legion the start to the CT side that they needed.
Yeah, I'm surprised we're actually going to see Endpoint invest into this one. Maybe really wanting to get that AWP in and having enough rounds that they can take this level of risk. However, it does give more of a chance for economy to be built if Hard Legion can actually win this round. Obviously, that's been one of the major issues for their squad, is their anti-eco rounds have not been fantastic. Their starts have been quelled quite a lot initially, and even in this scenario, it's a scout, a couple of FAMAS, and only a single, what I would call proper rifle, although the FAMAS has started to come back into fashion a little bit more with the slight buff it was given, so it's not awful, but it's still not anywhere near the level of an M4 or an AK.
Yeah, I go with the term premium rifles because I feel like the
Sure.
FAMAS is a little, a little budget version. It's not bad in some players' hands, but it's not a gun that I'm ever comfortable holding personally. Nades into this A site, and Endpoint have been locked out of A main. Counter utility from Hard Legion looking good, but forZe moves into the smoke. That ends up costing him his life. Thomas gets the kill with the Tech 9, and kinqie's been blinded, but they don't know he's here. They don't know kinqie's behind them. Oh no, that is not what Endpoint needed. The bomb plant seems very unlikely at this point. kinqie with another kill. Hard Legion having every single player rotated over to A, and just that counter utility from Hard Legion was so well timed there, and the fact that kinqie can survive in the back lines just makes sure there's not even a bomb plant for Endpoint. So into this next round, this time they just have to take a save.
Yeah, no, it's kind of expected in a sense, but they took the risk. Could have had AKs in this round, but I do feel like that was more of a reliance on that AWP wanting it to come in, and I have no problem with that. Crucial's been playing very well. If he can open up some of these rounds, that would be fantastic. A lot of pressure onto forZe. He's already gone. It's a FAMAS picked up, which don't give them a little bit of extra range. kinqie also left blind. Again, like the utility usage from Endpoint, it's a polar opposite to the opposing team. I think in terms of individual skill, the balance isn't that different. I think both teams have some decent players, and I think that they can take over matches, but the one thing that's been far more impressive from Endpoint is their synergy and team play. Max, I don't know how he's going to do anything here. Like a Glock in hand with very little achieved, but a bomb plant will give a huge boost to the economy, and it is going to now be 12-6, but with a very strong buy coming.
Yeah, that bomb plant really shores Endpoint up. Gives them everything they could want into this next one. AK instantly bought by Surreal. Crucial goes for the AWP. And full nades on almost every player over on the Endpoint side of things. So they will be very happy with this buy from their perspective. Over on the Hard Legion side, though, they've just got to continue to work hard to come back into this CT side. And we talked about their previous struggles, specifically at dealing with aggression on train. That's what they were struggling with on the Hard Legion side of things previously. And look at what Endpoint are going for. Straight away, running out through A main. Thomas has got himself into Olaf. He's able to keep on going, but that nade damage is massive. He's down to 6 health. And Thomas is still going here. Krad finally connects the single shot necessary to get that initial kill on the round. And the rest of Endpoint were hoping to follow up Thomas if he made something happen. But now that he's been dealt with, they're just going to sit back and they have to fight back from a man disadvantage.
This is where they need Crucial to open things back up for them. Take down an extra player, of course. Hard Legion, at least on the svyat and kinqie, have managed to make some extra cash in the early stages of this second half. Of course, it's not impossible for them to fight this one back. I just don't really feel like it's likely. They need to make things squeaky clean if that is going to be the case. Now, Endpoint just patiently waiting, maybe expecting a little bit more aggression, but as of right now, the CT side are more than happy to sit back. I think there's been a spot, though, however, and that's too easy a kill. Krad caught in the open, and they only really have to worry about svyat here. He's the main danger point. I guess kinqie as well is in a decent position. A free kill from heaven could be perfect, and the nade, in fact, will drop just shy of robiin's position. He's still looking for this fight. The nade up top could do some damage. He doesn't quite get the kill onto forZe or the kill on the man in heaven, and now he's left MiGHTYMAX and Surreal with a hell of a lot to do. They've got to be careful of this wraparound slowly coming in from kinqie. Makes his way onto the top of the train, and that's a free kill onto the first. And Max, his position now known, and they will patiently wait for his peak. Good work from Hard Legion, and again, a few what seems like misplays coming out from Endpoint, but even still, 12-7, a bomb plant, that probably means another buy.
Yeah, team ace for Hard Legion though. Everyone chiming in with a kill. They were able to rotate over to A pretty happily once they started to see the push come in. Endpoint made it fairly obvious, and that helps Hard Legion get all their players into a position to have impact on the round. No AWP this time for Endpoint, so if they lose that opening pick especially, they might be in trouble if they go down to that 4v5 like they did in the previous round. And Hard Legion, that time, showed much more of an ability to stop the early aggression that Endpoint were trying. That nade and molly combo did, I think, 90 damage to Thomas as he tried to push through A main. So it's a better sign for Hard Legion that they're able to deal with some of this early A main aggression, which we have seen be a problem for them in the past. As MiGHTYMAX puts down some defensive utility over on the B side of the map. Surreal is just holding this angle where Hard Legion won't be peeking. They've got an AWP set up on that long-range angle. So Endpoint just taking a slow start to this round. Not taking too much map control themselves, though. Mainly just staying within their own territory so far.
Crucial, ready for the aggression, but a one-for-one trade. And in fact, forZe's found a kill elsewhere. It seems like the T's plan is to try and re-aggress towards this B site. It's mainly Thomas. He almost catches the timing on both players, but in fact ends up killing off neither, and given a fair bit of information over to the CT side of where this push is looking to come in. They're going to try and make their way down the ramp, and in fact, with Krad being forced off the angle, they do have a decent chance of crossing to the site. The only problem is forZe now getting aggressive above, and no smoke for the cross. Nice kill from Max. That's crucial, and that could give a timing on the cross. It's a trade eventually. The Molotov's going to force Rage out of position, and they have managed to get themselves into an after plant spot.
Smoke down there by Hard Legion to try and get out through connector after seeing the flames. They had to try and extinguish them, but that's allowed Thomas to get up close, and robiin is able to make the most of the information that Thomas gives him. He heard the scope in, he gets the kill, and now svyat has to be careful. There's a man up close that he's not ready for. Thomas getting the final frag through for Endpoint to give them their 13th round win. And I was a little bit worried for Endpoint when they used their smoke over at upper to try and get out. That was not where they needed that smoke. They really needed that smoke for ramp or to help them cross to the site, because they had no smokes left at that point. But they're able to just push down the ramp. They won that initial fight. I think it was MiGHTYMAX who took down forZe at upper. That was a kill they had to find, and that really opened up the round for them. So credit to Endpoint, just relying on their individuals to carry them through, and they're going to go for a fast A play.
Looking to try and pick up the pace. Utility's been reduced, but the weaponry is still there, and already a two-man advantage. Again, these fast plays don't seem to be working for either side. kinqie doesn't really have anywhere left to go, and a bomb plant might be valuable here for the T side going into the future rounds. Their finances not in a particularly good spot, and a bit of an awkward position for them now to try and be in, especially with a man coming in on the flank from Pop. robiin just about gets the kill. That is a small glimmer of hope, and in fact, Crucial's found another. This is starting to slip away from the CT side. A 4 versus 2. robiin's still desperately low, but we've seen this before, where he can get them back into rounds even with minuscule levels of HP. I wonder if they're going to go for a rotation, though. They are slowly backing away. Still players in the connector, which will make things a bit awkward if it was to go onto the B site, because they'd fairly easily be able to rotate back just to make sure that if anybody is crossing, and it takes such a long time to get all the way through those brown holes, surely there's going to be a realization for the CT side that this could be a possibility.
They're not going to get her in time, though, that's for sure. Bomb will be planted, and this is where Hard Legion will realize the rotate has to come through. Kit in the hands of Krad, who's taking that first fight, and robiin, the man who was low on health, gets caught in the open trying to reposition. So now Crucial has got to land some shots with this AWP, and the smoke makes life so difficult for him. As soon as someone taps that bomb, he has to be worried, and it doesn't even matter. Rage just peeks him straight up. The right eye peek favoring Rage. Hard Legion get another round on the board. And again, Endpoint get the bomb plant so they can continue to buy, but this is looking much better for Hard Legion here. They are starting to come back into this game, and other than Endpoint landing some really nice shots on that previous round at B, they haven't been able to win these ones. Even though they've taken these rounds somewhat close, Hard Legion always seem to just about have the edge.
Yeah, I do think that a lot of these early aggressive plays into the A side have been what is sort of punishing their opposition. Right, Thomas's pushes really haven't been able to do too much. This time it's MiGHTYMAX with a Galil. Saved up that extra money for the utility, so I'm hoping we're going to see him use it. Incendiary already being expended by Krad. It's a bit of a weird position for an AWP. I wouldn't be surprised, and I think he is falling back. But here comes the setup. Execution onto the site. Lots of utility being expended, and already Krad is going to get the opener, but they might just try and fake this out. The problem is, nobody's really moved, although as I say that, they do opt to switch a player over.
Ooh, good shot from Rage. That's the bomb spotted, so they can start to rotate all these players into connector from B. Rage attempted the boost up there. Crucial may have heard that from the bomb site and nearly gets that kill. Rage has to fall back. In the meantime, svyat continues to fight on toward the site itself, and there's another kill for Hard Legion. Should be there around every single time at this point. robiin, the last man standing, the final survivor for Endpoint. Don't know if he'll be surviving much longer, though, as he starts to creep up on this position. There's no way he's winning this round. Gets that first kill, makes it a second. 30 seconds left on the clock, so he's got a bit of time to work with if he wants to try and work some more fights. But at this point, Hard Legion should just be sticking together, staying compact, and not giving away any of these 1v1 fights. And robiin gets a third kill. Surely he can't get away with this. 17 seconds left as he closes the distance onto the site. robiin almost has another one, but kinqie holds it down for Hard Legion. Still a little close for comfort there, though, with robiin landing some nice shots.
Yeah, no, I started to believe that, especially after he got that third kill. That was high potential for a 1 versus 5, and the fact that Hard Legion even let that get that close is somewhat terrifying. It also severely reduces the amount of money that they actually have going forward because of those extra players that they lost. So they're still right on the brink of being reset. We're going to see the pistols invested into for this round for Endpoint. So even just getting 2 or 3 kills in this round can make things relatively awkward. And forZe is still going to go for these aggressive peaks. I haven't been a fan of them so far. The other thing as well is I feel like there's something both teams haven't done is put any real pressure onto Ivy. It's one of those spots where you can get nice and close, especially utilizing the pistols in this scenario. Rage actually can go peeking through. Maybe a bit of an unnecessary risk, but he's going to take it nonetheless. And forZe is spotted, but decides not to take the face. Again, Endpoint at least need to do some damage in this round. Although they're still in the lead, it's been a streak for the CT side, and it does seem like everything is dwindling away from them at the moment as the push now begins onto the site. Nice shot from Crucial, but it's at the cost of a teammate. And svyat whiffing a few shots, has got to be careful, but he gets away with it. Now with the remaining players just being cleaned up, it's left all onto Surreal. A few tags and Rage needing a 4K to save them. And still, as I mentioned, it leaves the economy a little bit questionable.
Yeah, only 3 rounds in it, though. Hard Legion have done really well to get to this point. It's still just concerning that 1 round loss could be the end of them. This was Rage stepping up in this round with 4 kills. Very active across the map as well. We saw him rotate back to B to begin with. Then he had to fight on the bomb site itself. When his riflers weren't getting the kills, he was stepping up with the USP and the AWP at the end there. And this double AWP setup continues to come through for Hard Legion. Still no room for error, though. Their money is not in a good way. And with MiGHTYMAX getting the first kill of this round, Endpoint have the opportunity to try and break the bank, to try and crack that economy of Hard Legion. Max is sitting in the smoke. They don't know he's here. Max sneaks on through for a second kill, and this could be all the difference in this round. He's going to go all the way into connector. This is so much ground gained.
forZe, he needed a multi-frag there to even to just give them a chance, and I think the remaining players should just be holding on to their weaponry. It's a risk taken, so much noise. This is a free kill for MiGHTYMAX. They don't even know he's got this far into the connector, and Rage has to just back out of the round, and it was a long time coming. It was a lot of damage done, but this is now going to be the reset onto the economy, and if anything... Ooh. I was going to say they should probably buy up around the AWP, but he decided to face, I guess.
Got to have faith sometimes, Tom. I mean, I don't know why he had faith in himself there in a 1v4, but that's the only solution I can bring you. Yeah, I don't know what Hard Legion doing this round now. MiGHTYMAX, though, heads up play, just getting into the smoke, making things happen, and, well, they go for the force buy. It's just without the AWP.
Yeah, I think they kind of had to. Their finances are wrecked. They'll get 1,900 into the next round, so they're giving themselves 2 attempts at the same buy, and svyat is going to be the one opening things up. In fact, another couple of kills. forZe should just play Deagle. The man's nuts with it, and I think it's an interesting decision to go for a fast round when there should be a real realization here that the finances are low. A dink even onto Crucial, and now it looks like Endpoint might have just thrown away their yellow brick road straight through to the upper bracket to continue in that direction. Now Crucial, again, it's a horrible position. I don't want to call for a save with 1 minute 10 left on the clock, but I just don't want to see this AWP go into enemy hands.
Yeah, throwing it out of the map might be a legitimate option at this point, but he's in a position where he can't really do that. And there we go. forZe gets him from behind. I don't know if they'll get to that AWP in time. It's going to be close. Nope, they won't get there. The faster round end time means that they can't save the AWP at the very least. And Endpoint have got enough money to buy if they want to. More importantly, Hard Legion's economy is still in a questionable position. And I've got to say, speaking of questionable, like you said, that fast A play there for Endpoint, that's mostly the times that they've been losing the opening trades have been going for those fast A plays. So the fact they do it here against the Pistols, just a strange decision to take that sort of a risk where you know you could just be mowed down or you could just be caught in some of these angles. And now it's Endpoint's decision to make in terms of whether they want to buy. I think they probably can justify it here, especially considering Hard Legion's money is still weak. There we go. Thomas is buying up a Tech 9, so the force buy will be coming on through.
Yeah, it's now a point where we are looking at the side of Hard Legion and really starting to consider that this comeback might be possible. We were looking at a 12-3 half, and from then on, there's only been a few sparks of light for Endpoint on their T side. They've been really struggling. I'm surprised there hasn't been a drop of like a Galil or something. It may not be as prominent, but to just allow Thomas to run along with the Tech 9 seems like a bit of an oversight. But nonetheless, we are going to see it again by the looks of things. An attempt to go quickly in towards this A site. Rage still only going to be on a scout, so there is still a real possibility they'll be able to take this round away. Crucial just waiting patiently. A good flashbang and a tag hit onto both MiGHTYMAX and Surreal. Again, this early presence into the A site is looking weak, and I do sort of wonder why there hasn't been any sort of utilization when it comes to Ivy.
Wow, it looks like the straight-up A main play may just be successful anyway, because Thomas has got up close with the Tech 9. Both players blind. Oh, God, it's so uncomfortable. But kinqie eventually spots the player that was right in front of him the entire time, and it's a complete turnaround. Hard Legion getting all the kills they need. 4 frags in quick succession. Leave it up to robiin. He's already got the first man, but there are 2 more against him as he goes up the ladder. That might spell the death of him. forZe gets him. Hard Legion up to a 12th round win, and this game is really heating up now.
Yeah, it looks like we're going full distance here, and well, after what was such a strong first half, it's been pretty abysmal from Endpoint. Still, the Unicorn odds are firmly in their favor, but I feel like they should almost be 50-50 at this point, because we've seen very little from the UK mix, and leaves still a position where Hard Legion lose a round, they'll be back to pistols, but I'm not even sure if that's so much of a detriment to them anymore. Crucial saving some extra cash, MiGHTYMAX 2. Leaves just Surreal with a rifle for this round. It looks like we are going to see some presents thrown in towards the B site, and Krad in an aggressive spot. Surprise, surprise. We're actually going to go for a rotation into this site. It's evident that this is the direction. I feel like Endpoint have gone for only quick rounds into A, so it's understandable that they've taken this risk Here come the smokes, the nades, the flashbangs that will actually not really do too much. This is almost looking like just a farming simulator for Hard Legion as they get every kill without breaking a sweat.
Yeah, made that look easy, especially because they were playing somewhat close-range angles there. So if they get blinded or if they don't get those kills quickly, then the Pistols have a real chance at trying to get onto the site or trying to just get one kill or two. But not meant to be that time around for Endpoint. They try and switch it up with the B play. It doesn't work out for them. And now the buy comes through for Endpoint, albeit with Crucial having to sacrifice the helmet to get the AWP into his hands. He also bought a smoke instead of that helmet. So those M4s are a one-shot against Crucial, something to keep in mind as this round progresses. Smoke goes down by Rage. Endpoint putting some pressure on IB this time, but they're stuck behind that smoke, so they won't be able to push it anytime soon. Ooh, nade doesn't do damage onto kinqie there. I guess it landed behind the corner, so he only takes 4 damage from it, which is nice for him. Endpoint, though, keeping it slow at the start of this one. Still plenty of time left on the clock. Hard Legion will just be sitting back. They've got this aggression into A main, which gives them a good bit of info to work with. And Rage wants more than information. He wants this first kill, which he will find. robiin going in alone, ends up losing out.
Yeah, again, there's so many opening picks against Endpoint. I don't even know if they're going to expect kinqie in this corner. Even if they come around the corner and...
He hears those steps.
Out. Yeah, he's heard the rotations. They're going to gamble a third player in the direction towards B, and even though it's looking like a faster attempt this time, Thomas and co need themselves these entry frags to spam through. Does at least a bit of damage from svyat, but more importantly, Krad up close alongside Rage has just completely shut this down. All too easy for Hard Legion once again, and this has been some of the most dominant CT side play I've seen in quite a while.
Oh yeah, this is up there for sure. Hard Legion being able to just take 1 or 2 areas of the map, taking Pop Dog, taking A main. These are positions where you can either hear the steps on the rotate, or you can just stop the opponents from being able to easily rotate between those bomb sites. And Endpoint at the end there were hoping they could try and sell a fake on B and go A. I think they realized they might be running into a stack. But it doesn't matter if you can't get the kills onto the B site to begin with. Back to quick aggression for MiGHTYMAX. He's got himself into Olaf, but again, these nades coming into his position. He's down to half health, and he's forced into the open. So forZe is able to take him down. Another Molotov doing damage. Crucial runs through, but forZe's there to find him. Pretty easy stuff at the start of this one for Hard Legion. Their utility just denying Endpoint any of this early aggression. And forZe wins a further fight. 3 on the round for forZe. And Hard Legion almost certainly going to get up to map point and series point. What a comeback for Hard Legion.
Yeah, it's been only 2 rounds on this T side for Endpoint after what was a 12-3 half. Still a few low players here, but svyat looking to try and clean things up. And it's been a real resurgence. forZe leading the charge, but we've seen Krad go from having just 4 kills in the first half. Well, no, it was 2. Was it 2 kills? No, it was 4.
No, it was
he got
4. He doubled
got 2
it
at the very end. So technically in 14 rounds he did only have 2 kills. And now he's all the way up to 17. A great resurgence from him. And I guess there is still a CT side there, just not against CIS teams. There's too good individually. But this is the last chance saloon. Something we've seen many times in the past. In fact, it would almost create a fairly identical scoreline if they did win this last round, as we did see just individual rounds. Of course, likely to see some sort of pause here, at least to give a little bit of time for the coach to talk things through. But ultimately, as long as Hard Legion don't slip up, they should have this in the bag.
Yeah, overtime at the very least, at a minimum for Hard Legion, which is not something I thought I'd be saying at the start of this second half, but Hard Legion have been able to pull it off. Endpoint have had a bunch of close rounds go against them, but it does feel like Hard Legion have generally been in control of this game. And Endpoint again decide to slow it down. Crucial hasn't been able to get anywhere near as many opening kills. He hasn't been as effective with the AWP on this T side. this would be a hell of a round for him to step up and maybe get 1 or 2 entries for his team. Early nades again deployed by Hard Legion, though, denying Endpoint anything to start the round. And Thomas has just taken a ton of damage from the nade, down to 41 health. Not the ideal start for Endpoint, but still plenty of time left on the clock for them. Both teams are just sitting back in their own sides of the map here at the start of round 30.
I think it's got into the heads of Endpoint. There's been so much aggression, so much map control taken from them in the past that it might be something to happen again. Still plenty of utility to be expended here, and with 40 seconds left, they are going to have to make their move relatively soon, maybe hoping that Crucial can get them an opener, but he hasn't been able to do too much. kinqie is going to be playing from above. Rage looking to try and hold off any peek coming out from Pop. Smoke going in behind, but he is going to nail that first shot. The man from above gets a second, but it's Rage just holding the line, looking for more. Already looking to close out this match in regulation from 12-3 down. They will bring it all the way back and win 16-14. And Endpoint have got to be absolutely kicking themselves. They needed just 4 rounds on their T side, and they couldn't quite do it.
They couldn't even get 3. They couldn't even take it to overtime.
Yeah.
That would have been an option as well for them. Yeah, just not going well. I think they may have done their homework in thinking that they could just push out A main every round, which is something previously Hard Legion struggled with.
Not quite Na'Vi.
Yeah, no, this time, not only at Endpoint, not Na'Vi, but this time the nades were just a bit better across the board from Hard Legion. They were very ready with some nade and molly combos just to make sure players couldn't push out through Olaf. And, I mean, you think back to this first half, we were thinking it was another one-sided map in this series. We were thinking it was another one where Endpoint were just going to run away with it. But Hard Legion had to dig deep to come back, and man, did they do just that.
To be fair, it was one-sided. It was CT-sided.
That's true. That is true.
That was, yeah. I'm a little bit disappointed with both teams, in all honesty. Like the T sides were atrocious, and this did remind me of like an old style of train, which we haven't seen for quite a while, where teams just don't have much on the T side. And it's one of the reasons this map was and always has been a very CT-sided map is when you can run out of ideas very, very quickly. There's a very few avenues to attack, although, well, you could say, like, you could name a few. They all lead in through multiple, or singular, I guess you could say, positions. And yeah, it basically became quite an awkward battle in the end between the two, just to try and grind out those remaining rounds. And I definitely wouldn't have thought that, well, that one round that they got at the end of the half would have made all the difference, which was actually just a burst out of A main. So yeah, I don't think that Endpoint are going to be too happy with that one, especially because now this sends them into the lower bracket, and there are going to be some tough teams down there. Of course, we do have a match coming up in just a moment. I believe it's meant to be starting around now, so it definitely should be a relatively short break before we come back. But of course, we will be heading into forZe facing off against ESPADA, a CIS battle, one that I'm sure we have witnessed, but not necessarily within the RMR event. It was forZe able to take it 2-0 last time they played, so that's probably how I would favor it this time, although I will have to say that I've been impressed with what I've seen from ESPADA in recent times, like getting a 5th at the recent RMR event, and basically showing that, hey, although we're not one of the teams with all the bank, we're not the team that can hold on to necessarily our best players, we are a team that can find new talent and bring it into our roster.
Yeah, and it's a surprise to say that forZe were the team that didn't make it through the qualifier to begin with to make it to the tournament, which is why I think that series gets a bit more intriguing between ESPADA and forZe now, especially, as you said, because they haven't played each other too recently. It'll be good to see, because it feels like ESPADA recently have been upping their game, whereas forZe have been wildly inconsistent, to say the least. So that should be a good one. I think here, though, just the fact that I said at the start of the day that I was saying, oh, I think Endpoint are one of the teams that are one of the favorites to take the entire thing, and then they do this to me, Tom. I don't know. Maybe I set it up for myself. Maybe it's the caster's curse, but
maybe it's because you're British and you believe. That's something that has never really happened before. Most British people are very pessimistic, including myself.
Sure.
And yeah, you started to believe for a second, and thus they let you down. Just like the where it's coming home, that was another one.
Classic.
People started to believe, although, but it definitely started off as a meme, like haha, we're gonna win, and then people were like, maybe we can win, and that's when we decide to lose. So that's basically what happened in this match. Of course, you've got some wonderful extended highlights. Rage having a fantastic resurgence into the CT side. I think he had 8 kills in the first half, ended with 27, so a superb second half. It can be quite a classic thing with an AWPer, but I think that's something that sort of proves a world-class AWPer for maybe a decent one, is being able to pull it off on the T side, especially getting a lot of those openers. And in all honesty, I was quite disappointed with Crucial not really being able to do too much, because then they did start to rely on like MiGHTYMAX and Thomas just playing ridiculously aggressive. Either way, that is it for our first series. We do have one more to come today and plenty more coming this week. Of course, during the break, you can check out Hellcase. I believe there's SLTV 15, and you can get yourself some extra skin money. Who knows? You can go have a look. It's all there. I'm sure there's a fantastic description as well. Just have a look at that stuff while we're in the break. Maybe get a drink, get some food. I got a sandwich right here, which I'm going to start eating. So we'll see you in a bit.